I moved out to the Nevada foothills because I wanted quiet, and instead I ended up starring in the kind of neighborhood drama that usually involves a casserole, a Facebook group, and somebody screaming about lawn height. Except in my version, the welcome committee showed up with a $22,000 bill, a sheriff with an ego the size of the valley, and no joke, an attempted firebombing at 3:00 a.m. Yeah, silence is supposed to mean peace. Right? Turns out it can also mean you're alone when people decide they can do whatever they want to you. My name's Evan Randall, I'm 42, I did my time in the Marine Corps. And now I consult corporate security for companies that love spending money on risk mitigation, while ignoring the actual risks sitting in their own boardrooms. After enough years of airports and spreadsheets and conference rooms with bad carpet, I snapped and decided I wanted land, real land. Not the kind where a committee tells you what color your mailbox can be. So I hunted for months then years because I've been burned by an HOA before, and when I say burned, I mean I sat in a courtroom watching someone in a polo shirt explain why my backyard was an aesthetic concern. And I walked out with a settlement check big enough to make me swear off shared governance forever. I didn't just want no HOA. I wanted you can't even spell HOA near me without tripping a legal alarm. Then I found it, 30 acres outside Red Hills Valley, unincorporated, fenced, mineral and water rights intact, the kind of place where the wind talks more than people do. I triple-checked parcel records at the county office, recorded the deed, even put it under my LLC, because I like my life neat and my liabilities separated. And when I moved in, I built it like I build everything: solar backup, diesel generator, satellite internet, perimeter fencing, cameras, some obvious, some not, because the best security is the kind nobody notices until it's too late. The first week was perfect. I'd wake up early, drink coffee while coyotes argued with each other in the distance, cut brush, test irrigation lines, and feel my shoulders drop for the first time in years. This was what I'd paid for, this was what I'd earned. Then day 8 happened. I'm out by the eastern fence line running cable for another motion sensor, sun already beating down, and I see 3 figures at my main gate, like they just spawned there out of entitlement. A woman in a bright red vest, 2 men with clipboards and clip-on smiles, and the woman walks like she's about to declare war on a small country. She's mid-50s, hair cut with surgical precision, sunglasses that cost more than my truck, and a voice so sharp you could use it to slice open a sealed envelope without tearing the paper. "Good morning," she says, like she's doing me a favor. "I'm Karen Welsh," she adds, president of the Red Hills Preserve Homeowners Association. "We'd like to welcome you to the community." I didn't even reach for her hand. I just looked at her, then the clipboard guys, then back at her. "I'm not part of your community." Her smile twitched like it wasn't used to being told no without a committee vote. She recovers fast, though, because people like that always do. "Well, technically," she says, "your property borders the preserve, and we consider this entire valley part of our stewardship model." One of the clipboard guys jumps in, rehearsed like a choir boy. Road maintenance, security patrols, events. Karen cuts him off with a little wave, like he's background noise. "And standards enforcement," she says, "fencing aesthetics, noise ordinances, fire safety, visual harmony." Visual harmony. I repeat because I can't help it, that's adorable. She doesn't laugh. Instead, she pulls out a leather folder and hands it over like it's a diploma. Membership packet, glossy photos of houses that look like they were designed by a prison architect who got into beige bylaws printed like their holy scripture, and, I swear to God, a color will titled approved shades for residential trim. Then I see the number. One-time community onboarding contribution, $22,000 plus monthly dues. I hand it back. "Thanks," I say, "but I'll pass. My land isn't under HOA jurisdiction." Her smile cracks just a hair. "Mr. Randall," she says, "we're offering you the chance to integrate smoothly. If you decline, you'll still be expected to maintain minimum standards to avoid conflict." Clipboard guy mutters like he's proud of himself. "It's easier to work with us than around us." And that's when I know exactly what this is. Extortion with landscaping terminology. I lean on the gate, calm as a Sunday morning. "This isn't a negotiation," I tell her. "This property was carved from federal patent land in '78. No annexation, no servitude rights, no HOA overlay. I'm not interested in your suggestions, guidelines, or fee structure. So if you're done with the welcome wagon pitch, I've got a trench to dig." Her sunglasses hide her eyes, but not the narrowing of her face. "We'll see how long that attitude lasts," she says, then turns and walks away like she's already planning the next move. And the thing about people like Karen when they say, "We'll see," what they really mean is, "I'm going to make you regret having boundaries." 2 days later, mid-morning, I hear that low rumble crawling over the hills. Engine noise slow, deliberate like a predator dragging its belly through tall grass. A county patrol SUV creeps up my access road. No lights, no siren, just presence. It stops outside my property line. 2 people get out. One is young, rookie energy, checking gear, scanning everything like he's auditioning for competence. The other mid-60s, 10 uniform tailored around an aging belly, mirrored sunglasses, jaw carved out of old sandstone. Sheriff Greg Welsh. Yeah, that Welsh. I step up to my gate, but I don't open it. "Can I help you, gentlemen?" Sheriff Welsh doesn't answer right away. He pulls a folded paper from his vest and holds it up like it's a warrant from God. "Got a report of unpermitted construction," he says. "We need to inspect." I blink slow. "You got a warrant?" He snorts. "Routine check. Don't make it difficult, son." "I'm not your son," I say, "and I don't do routine without paperwork. You're on my private road outside my fence. Unless you've got judicial cause, this is trespass." The rookie's eyes flick to the sheriff like, "Please don't do this," but the sheriff leans in closer, voice dropping into gravel. "You think because you've got cameras and a little hideout, you don't have to follow rules," he says. "Let me be clear, you're not special." I tilt my head. "You mean we, as in you and your wife?" I say. "Karen send you out here to finish her HOA pitch with a badge on?" His jaw twitches. "Watch your mouth. You watch your authority," I say, still calm because calm makes bullies itch. "You came here without a warrant. You're posturing on private land that doesn't fall under your HOA fantasy." He smacks his palm on my gate like he's trying to intimidate steel. "This is obstruction," he snaps. "If you don't let us through, I'll bring you in for resisting." And that's when I pull out my phone and hit record mid-breath. "Say that again for the camera." He freezes just a beat long enough to hear the wind move through the pines and the metallic hum of insects in the brush. "Just so we're clear," I add, "this is being recorded on 4 devices, phone, 2 gate cams, and an audio feed behind you. You're threatening an unlawful arrest without cause. The DA is going to love this." The rookie lightly tugs the sheriff's sleeve, murmuring something about dispatch and jurisdiction, and Sheriff Welsh finally backs off, doesn't apologize, doesn't correct himself, just turns and stomps back to his SUV, slamming the door so hard the side mirror shakes. Dust curls behind their tires as they reverse away, and I stand there thinking, well, now it's definitely not over. I don't sit down. I pull footage from every angle, splice the cleanest clips, zip it with time-stamped metadata, and send it to my attorney and the district attorney's intake office. Not because I'm eager for a fight, but because I'm not letting someone write my story for me. 3 days later, my lawyer forwards an email from the DA. Internal inquiry opened alleged misconduct, abuse of authority, and Sheriff Gregory J. Welsh named in full. I sign an affidavit, provide chain of custody. Everything clean. By Monday, local news runs the story. Doesn't mention me by name, but my gate is on the screen, and there's a blurry still of the sheriff sneering like he's about to bite the metal. Someone leaked it. 2 days after that, Sheriff Welsh gets placed on administrative leave. Comment sections explode. Half the valley cheers, half screams smear campaign. And then Karen shows up again. This time alone. She walks up my gravel like she's walking into a courtroom. I don't open the gate. I just stand behind it, letting the bars do what boundaries do. "You smug bastard," she hisses the second she's close enough. I don't answer. "You think this is a game?" she spits. "You humiliated my husband, you humiliated us. You don't belong here." I keep my voice level. "Your husband trespassed. He threatened me while wearing a badge. Everything I did was legal." "You erased him," she says, eyes bloodshot. "You erased yourselves," I reply. And she just stands there, rage boiling under her skin, then she turns and leaves with that kind of quiet that doesn't feel like surrender, it feels like a storm holding its breath. By the end of the week, Greg Welsh is arrested. Trespassing under color of authority, attempted coercion, abuse of power. The cuffs click in the courthouse parking lot, and the whole town watches like it's a holiday parade. Karen disappears from the public eye. Her HOA newsletters go silent. But her silence isn't peace, it's planning. First it's trash bags dumped inside my northern fence line, torn open, nasty, deliberate, and right there in the mess, an envelope with the HOA logo like a signature. Then red paint smeared across my gate, the word traitor dripping like bad theater bundled HOA, violation notices, tied with twine and a dead rose, like she's auditioning for Villain of the Year. I report it. The sheriff's office, under an interim captain, takes it politely the way people take complaints when they hope you'll get bored and go away. Then the mail comes. Unmarked envelope, no stamp, no return address, just slid into my rural mailbox like a warning left in a trap. Inside a photo of my house at night, shot from the East Ridge. High-end lens. Crisp enough to see my porch light, my dog moving across the yard, even my shadow behind the curtain. And a ransom-style note, letters cut out, glued down. We see everything. You aren't safe out here. That one doesn't scare me, it makes me cold. I bag the note, pull my archive feed, scan motion triggers, and there it is. A figure hiking the ridge around 2 a.m., using trees as cover. No face, but the message is clear. Karen isn't just mad. She's hunting. I start sleeping in 2-hour shifts. Add floodlights. Shift sensor angles. Pull the old Remington out, because I'm not romantic about danger, I'm practical. And then the twist shows up at my gate. Just past dusk, a woman stands near the east entrance where the rosemary grows wild, mid-30s, denim jacket, hair in a no-nonsense ponytail, hands clutching something like it might explode. When she sees me, she flinches. "Are you Evan?" she asks. "Depends who's asking," I say, because trust is expensive out here. "My name's Madison," she says, voice shaky but honest. "I live on Cedar Ridge. I used to be close with Karen. Not anymore." She holds up a flash drive. "I think you need to see this." I buzz her through, walk her toward my outer shed where I keep a secure laptop, plug it in, and what plays feels like watching a cult meeting recorded on a phone. It's the HOA Community Center. Karen at the front, pacing like a prosecutor. "Randall is a threat," she says, voice low and clipped. "He turned Greg into a villain and got him jailed. We can't let him keep spreading rot." Someone off camera says, "He's got cameras, legal stuff, we can't touch him." Karen's response is ice. "Then we make him touch us," she says. "Create an incident. Stage something. Use a decoy. If he resists, we record it, we build a narrative." Madison pauses the video, swallowing hard. "They're planning to set you up," she whispers. I'm done being afraid of her. That night I upload the footage to encrypted drives, send copies to my lawyer, a journalist I trust, and a watchdog site that doesn't flinch at bullies. And sure enough, next morning, sheriff's office calls. Cheerful voice, like she's confirming a dinner reservation. "You've been named in a physical assault complaint, Mr. Randall filed by a community safety inspector from Red Hills Preserve." I show up with a folder so thick it could stop a bullet, camera feeds, timestamps, GPS logs, a time-lapse of me cleaning water tanks at the exact hour I'm supposedly assaulting someone. The victim, Brent Darrow, presents a grainy video of a hoodie-shoved incident with no clear face, and here's the funny part. His phone pings off a tower 15 miles away during the alleged assault. The complaint collapses in hours. But the message lands. Karen isn't trying to scare me anymore, she's trying to erase me legally. So I decide, if they want theater, I'll give them paperwork and consequences. Then 3 a.m. hits. Glass shatters. Pitch black outside. No moon. No breeze. And the dog's dead silent. That silence is wrong in a way you feel in your teeth. I slide out of bed barefoot, grab my flashlight, pull my Glock, and move through my house without turning on a single light, because I know my layout, they don't. A flicker of orange pulses through the window, west side. Generator shed. I hear metal scraping, a low thump, then running, and finally the dogs erupt like the world is ending. I step outside and see flames licking up the generator shed wall, fast, hungry, fed by diesel. Fence snapped like someone hit it with tools. 2 figures sprint into the treeline. One trips, curses. Another turns and hurls something heavy toward my garage wall, missing with a clang that rings like a church bell. I don't fire, not yet. I raise my weapon and call out, voice steady, cold. "You're on camera. This is private land. You've got 10 seconds before I start shooting." They keep running, because cowards don't have staying power. I grab the extinguisher, fight the fire for minutes that feel like years, then check lines, relays, everything. Only after the flames are dead do I pull up my backup footage, because, of course, they cut the main camera cable. But I'm not stupid. I have passive IR cameras running off battery packs, SD cards buried in dummy owl boxes and trees. The footage is clean enough to make my stomach drop. 3 men in masks, but one forgets gloves. Another's mask slips while lighting the fire. I freeze the frame, zoom, enhance contrast. Preston Weller, chair of the HOA disciplinary committee. Bald spot. Tattoo on the left hand. And the guy who tripped, I recognize his voice like an old bad song. Randy Coulter, Karen's cousin, a man I hadn't seen in years, and last I heard, he was dabbling in meth and trouble like it was a hobby. By sunrise, I have copies everywhere, cloud, lawyer, sheriff's office. The interim sheriff is younger, quieter, and blessed with one crucial quality, a working brain. He watches the video, nods once, and says, "We're moving." That afternoon, Preston gets arrested, felony arson, trespassing, destruction of property. Randy gets picked up in a traffic stop hours later, bolt cutters, spray paint, diesel, tools matching the break-in. And Karen, she goes quiet for a day, then sends lawyers, because when bullies lose physical power, they hide behind letterhead. But here's what Karen didn't count on. She wasn't just messing with me. She'd been squeezing the whole valley. So I start calling homeowners, not asking for favors, offering evidence. And like that, the dam breaks. 13 of us. 13 stories, illegal fines, forged notices, threatened evictions, coerced membership fees. Harassment so intense one woman almost lost her house because her shutters were painted blue. And the common thread, none of them had signed binding HOA membership. Karen was running an HOA with no real charter, a paper castle held together with toner and fear. My attorney, Susan Hale, a former federal prosecutor with zero patience for suburban dictators, drafts a class action lawsuit that reads like a demolition plan. Unlawful enforcement, extortion, defamation, property damage, conspiracy to commit fraud, and we attach receipts, over 100 pages of them, including Madison's video of Karen plotting to frame me and the arson footage. First hearing, Karen's new legal team shows up in expensive suits with smug grins and folders full of community improvement photos until the judge watches Preston torch my shed, then watches Karen discussing a setup like she's directing a movie. Preliminary injunction granted, HOA enforcement frozen. And then Madison drops the real bomb. She hands us financial backups from when she sat on the Treasury Committee, records Karen thought nobody would ever see. Kitchen fund, Madison calls it, bitter joke stuck in her throat. Turns out the HOA spent nearly $20,000 on maintenance that was really luxury dinners, spa weekends, private security money squeezed out of homeowners under threat of liens. That's enough for the DA. Criminal investigation opens, financial fraud, document forgery, conspiracy. Karen gets indicted, racketeering, fraud, accessory to arson, arrested at her own HOA meeting while she's literally presenting a PowerPoint about community values. And I'll be honest, there was a moment I almost laughed, not because it was funny, but because life has this twisted way of writing comedy with a blade. 6 months later, the courtroom is packed. Karen walks in like she still owns oxygen. The trial lasts 9 days, brutal days where her empire gets peeled apart, document by document, witness by witness. People testify about being threatened with arrest, about fines that nearly took their homes, about fear living under a woman who treated rules like a weapon. I testify too, about her husband showing up without a warrant, about the threats, about the escalation, about the fire. On day 6, Preston takes a deal, pleads guilty, testifies Karen ordered it. 2 days later, Randy folds too, because jail has a way of making cowards honest. The jury comes back in 4 hours. Guilty. Karen gets convicted on 7 felony charges, racketeering, conspiracy to commit arson, fraud, abuse of authority. Then the judge reads the sentence and the room goes silent in this heavy, righteous way that feels like the valley finally exhaling. 17 years in state prison, no early release. Karen doesn't look at me once, not even when the cuffs go on. And that's when the lesson hits me, not like a speech, not like some inspirational quote, more like a quiet truth settling into my bones. People don't always chase power because they want to build something, sometimes they chase it because they want to own people. And the scariest part is how normal it can look on paper. A logo, a newsletter, a voluntary protection plan, and suddenly you've got a little kingdom built on fear, and everyone's too tired, too polite, or too scared to say, "Hey, do you even have the right?" 2 weeks later, the HOA is dissolved by state order, assets frozen, liens voided, fines wiped out. Neighbors start tearing down those ridiculous uniform fences, opening their lots like they're remembering what breathing feels like. I rebuild my generator shed, upgrade security, because peace is precious and I don't gamble with it. And with the court-awarded compensation, I break ground on a small training space, a place where landowners can learn their rights, understand deeds. and spot the kind of legal bullying that hides behind community standards. People started calling me the man who broke the HOA. I don't care about titles, but I'll admit that one doesn't bother me. And the sweetest part, karma has jokes. Karen gets transferred upstate to a medium security facility that has an inmate-run residence council, basically an HOA with worse snacks. I heard she doesn't attend meetings. So yeah, I finally got my silence back, the real kind, miles from the nearest gas station, wind in the pines, coyotes in the distance, except now it sounds different, because it's not just peace, it's earned peace. But here's the question I can't stop thinking about, and I want you to sit with it too. When someone uses power to bully, extort, and threaten people, where's the line between defending yourself and becoming just another person who enjoys the fight? Drop your take in the comments. Was what I did pure self-defense, or did I take it too far when I salted the earth? And if you've ever dealt with an HOA, a corrupt official, or anyone who tried to control you with paperwork and fear, tell me what happened, because I swear, the only reason people like Karen get away with it for so long is because everyone stays quiet.